Welcome to the Planet Paintball Podcast, the ultimate podcast for paintball enthusiasts. Each week, we dive into the world of paintball, bringing you stories, insights, and tips from players, coaches, and industry insiders. Sponsored by 1023 Sportswear. Looking for high-quality gear that performs as hard as you do? Check out 1023 Sportswear. And as a listener of the Planet Paintball Podcast, you can get 20% off your order with the code PLANETPaintball. Suit up, save big, and play your best.
Welcome back to the Planet Paintball Podcast. If you haven't already, please give a like, subscribe, or a review on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube. Check out our sponsors of the show, 1023 Sportswear and Southwest Paintball in Bayfield, Colorado. Today, I got Brody Long with me from Breakout Spa and a couple other teams. So,
hey, how's it going?
Good. How's the day been, man?
Pretty good. Just usual work day.
Okay. So how did you find paintball?
So I kind of have two origin stories with this.
Okay.
First one, went with a church group back when I was like 11 or 12 and did not have a pleasant experience. I said to myself that I was never going to play paintball again. Then later on, one of my buddies decided that he wanted to have a birthday party for a paintball, and I was like, well, I can't just back out of it, and then it just kind of took off from there.
Nice. What was the difference in between the church group experience and the birthday party experience?
All right, so the church group experience, first time playing, kind of do what everybody does, maybe wear extra layer of jeans, sweatpants, hoodie, stuff like that. Well, apparently I dressed up just like my pastor, who was wearing gray hoodie, gray sweatpants. There was someone there that plays with him on a regular basis, and I guess he had some frustration towards him. And at one point during the day, he found me thinking that I was him and decided that he was going to light me up. It probably shot me like 5 to 10 times. It didn't really matter. I did not enjoy it. I came out of there probably crying.
All right, fair enough. Unfortunate mistake there.
Oh yeah.
So how long did the youth group and the birthday party kind of separate?
So it was probably about 2 years. I was maybe, like I said, 11 to 12 there, and then 13 or 14 the second time around. And much different experience. The church group, we were inside of a chicken house, so you really didn't have much choice but to be like 5 to 10 feet away from the person that you could actually hit. Where the second time around, it was at the same field. We got to play on like the speedball field and the assault field, so you're a lot further away, got a better chance to figure out what was going on, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Since the second time was the same spot and it was good. What was the spot?
So Paintball Kingdom down in Marshville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know it. I went to Wingate right before it. Yeah. So didn't go out.
I'm right down the road from Wingate.
Okay.
The university. Yep.
It's some old stomping grounds. I didn't play paintball a lot back then, or if I did, I drove back to Greenville to do it. But
I gotcha.
Yeah, they had do you remember that indoor spot they had there at the old skating rink? Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I played there 4 days a week.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd get out of school. I don't know if you know where Forest Hills is, but I'd leave Forest Hills, go straight to Scrap That in Monroe, work for maybe 2 hours, and then play paintball until like midnight.
Nice.
And then go home, wake up, go to school, do it all over again the next day.
Yeah, that was like a tiny field. It was like really like a 3-man field almost.
Oh, yeah, it probably 2-man field, to be honest. It was real small.
But when I walked in, they were running like 5-on-5 for sure.
Yeah, we had 1 year where it was like one of the last years that MAO was here, and we ran an advertisement that we were going to have the MAO field set up on the indoor. And I think it was Doc's Raiders at the time. They decided to show up, and you could just see it in their face. They're just like, "What is this?"
Was not happy, huh?
No, for sure.
That's funny. So when did it progress from playing casually into tournaments for you?
So probably around 20. Probably 5 is like the first tournament that I ever played, and it would have been a 3-man. and it was for the Kingdom Squires, is what the team name was, because he had Paintball Kingdom, so he had Squires, Knights, and all that stuff. And I think it was actually out at Boss Paintball, like a little local 3-man out there.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
How quickly did it kind of progress from?
I mean, it was literally just like kind of walking up steps. It's like as soon as we started playing 3-man, kind of stopped playing at Paintball Kingdom and went out to CJ's when it was still open
Okay.
and got on Gravediggers Paintball, if you've ever heard of them, with JD Bush was running it then. And then from there we started playing CFOAs and, same thing. Just took the next step, CFOA to NXL to you really can't go further than that, to be honest.
No, no, you can't.
But yeah.
I guess the retirement package is the ICPL, if you will,
Yeah,
in
man.
a way.
Yeah.
So when did Breakout come along in that story?
So I probably played, let's see, from 2006 to let's see, 2006, 7, and 8 would have been a team called Cosa Nostra. Do you remember that? That's where, well, so it was Boss Factory. That's where I met Justin Ainsworth.
Okay.
And then the next year we made Cosa Nostra because of George Torres. And we were going to do like this kind of whole Italian thing because he's
Okay.
Italian. And he decided that he didn't want to play the higher division. So we were stuck with this name and did that for a couple years and then started playing with Cross-Eyed Paintball and then took a long break. And then that's kind of where Breakout kind of came along. 13 would
Okay.
be for me.
So cross-eyed, were you driving out to Tennessee for that?
Yeah, so I actually went and stayed out there for like 2 weeks with Craig Williams' family, like the guy that, kind of started the whole program. And I had a blast doing that because it's like I didn't think I'd ever be someone that somebody would pick up from, out of state and be like, oh yeah, we want you to come play for our team. I thought I was just going to be play locally and do all that stuff and figure it out then. But yeah, playing with them was an experience.
So how far did you run up with them?
I played D2 with them for
Okay.
a solid season. Kind of started out doing the CFOA X balls with them, then played my first World Cup with them in 2007, kind of going back into the CFOA X ball and a mixture of NXL playing Division Two.
Okay. So what's the because they were especially at that time like such a big organization, right? Like I feel like they had a line in every division in the CFOA and then they had the national lines. So what's like your favorite memory from playing with them?
Ooh, so this one probably wouldn't be. I mean, it'd probably be a CFOA, one of
Okay.
the CFOA X balls. It was I think it was the first D2 X ball that CFOA had, and it was probably like one of the last ones that they did too. But we ended up winning that one. But prior to the event, me and Ainsworth would go out a lot and we'd kind of do our, adolescent shenanigans, just,
Hmm.
doing stuff we shouldn't be doing. And I remember after a match, all your adrenaline's going and anxiety's going, and I had to run off to the corner to throw up. Well, it's a lot of alcohol that we were drinking the night before, and it looked like blood basically. It's like cranberry vodka, stuff like that. And one of the teammates was just like, dude, are you okay? Like you're throwing up blood. And it's like, no, it's just alcohol. So I think that's something I'll never forget. I mean, that was definitely an experience.
All right. And then so from there, because that organization has come and gone kind of under different names for sure. So what brought you from Cross-Eyed to Breakout?
So I think, let's see, what was it? 2009 was like the last MAO that they had here.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that feels right anyways.
Yeah. And it was something about playing that event and just I guess that time in my life where it was just maybe it was like too much of like one thing and I just kind of wanted a break from it. So I think it was the MAO decided that I didn't want to play anymore for a while. Then maybe it was a year and a half, took a break off. So around like 2011, Glory Road Paintball opened up. So Ainsworth and I decided to go out and play there, and we were just kind of, messing around out there for a little while. Then it was mostly just kind of playing the local stuff that they were doing. And then Collision and Breakout had tryouts in like late 2012, and we ended up going to that.
Okay.
and I ended up getting on Breakout then.
Nice.
Yep.
So Glory Road did a lot of cool events back in the day. They did a couple 7-mans. They had Larry's Carolina Cup thing. And I feel like they did like a couple other interesting formats that were kind of ahead of the time a little bit. Like, did they do a mechanical 5-man at one point? Or
That I do
like
not know. Yeah.
or thing I can't remember. I just remember that for a while there they had something neat like every 2 to 3 months going on up there.
Yeah, I know they had a lot of like kind of open division 3-mans that you could
Okay.
go do. And that's kind of how I got back into the tournament kind of
Okay.
scene of it was, yeah, let's just go play these 3-mans and kind of beat up on the kids that are out there a little bit.
Nice. So you went to the tryout and it was Breakout / Collision, right? Which they were kind of like sister teams, right? Or brother teams,
Yeah,
however you want to say it.
yeah, it's kind of like the same program. You just had like team A would be Collision, team B would be Breakout. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like same program, different sponsors.
Okay.
So like Collision was Empire, all Empire gear with axes, where
Yeah.
Breakout was GI Sports and you could shoot whatever you wanted.
Okay.
Yep.
And then so if you can answer this for me. There you guys Carolina Breakout, but then there was Atlanta Breakout too. Were they associated at all or
Yeah. So Atlanta Breakout was before Carolina Breakout, and
okay.
I don't know like the exact history of all of it. If you want to know all that, this guy that plays on Breakout now is Chance Thompson. He can tell
Okay.
you like literally like day for day
Well,
on
we'll
all
have to
that
get
stuff.
Chance on at one point.
But yeah, he's from Tennessee,
Okay.
so that's like where we get all the orange and black and stuff from now.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So how long did that run with Breakout last?
It's still going.
Still going?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So we had that so we had the tryout, and like I said, I originally got on Breakout as the team that I was going to play for the season. And then there was a couple things that happened with a couple of the players on Collision, and I ended up playing the whole NXL season with them in Division 2.
Okay.
And then the next year is when I started playing with Breakout in 2014.
Okay. Nice.
And from basically 2014 to now.
Okay. So
Yep.
but for a while there, you guys were like every NXL, right? And then kind of dialed it back a little bit. Did that
Yeah, so
just,
like
I was going to say, did it just kind of naturally happen as guys start getting older, adult life kicks in?
yeah, kind of. So we kind of always skipped an event. It was typically always the first event of the year because it would always be in just some random area. Like I want to say mostly on the West Coast. So like I think Vegas was like the only time that we actually started a season on the West
Okay.
Coast. As it's like, I mean, you get a chance to go to Vegas, you go to Vegas at least
Yeah.
one time. But we'd always try to play 4 events out of the year. And then kind of like you said, people got older, it's a little bit harder to get a solid group. We always like to take 8 with us. Then COVID, kind of happened. 2020, slowed everything down, and uh, most of us kind of felt like we were just gonna kind of phase out paintball a little bit. And then what was it? I think 2021. That's when Justin Lamb hit me up and asked if I wanted to play CPXL.
Okay.
And that's kind of what got us kind of going back in together, trying to play NXLs and more of the bigger regional leagues that would let us play.
Okay. And then you guys, so it's interesting because some of you played for Clutch, right? In the CPXL, and then some of you played for Wrecking Crew and right, not Wrecking Crew,
Wreckers. Yep.
Wreckers.
Yep.
Sorry, Justin.
He'd probably take that as a compliment if
He
you're
probably
comparing them to
would.
Wrecking
Yeah. Yeah, those boys I would say they're underperforming this year. I'm sure they'll get it together, but
Crew. Yeah.
we'll see. So was it always, were you guys splitting up just because there wasn't a place you guys could all play together locally?
Yeah, because we all got ranked D2 because we played D2 from I believe 2016. So we did 16, 17, 18, 19 is where we kind of started to slow down a little bit, but we did play, I'm pretty sure a
Okay.
whole year of that. And then COVID hit, and that's where they just had the first event and the last event of the
Yeah.
year. And then, so we really didn't do anything until Cup in 2020.
Gotcha.
And 2021 rolled around, and that's where Justin Lamb asked me if I wanted to play with the Wreckers. I ended up dragging my buddy Jake Boger along, and we just basically played the snake side for them for the 2021 season. And then, kind of similar, stuff happens in life. Decided that I didn't want to play 2022. And then Justin asked me if I wanted to play, or Justin Ainsworth asked me if I wanted to play with Clutch in 2022. So I ended up doing that whole thing. And then all the breakout guys kind of got the bug again, and we decided to start playing together.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
You guys did play the C3XL Division 3, right? When it was around?
Yep. So we did they changed it per event almost. So like the first event that CPXL had, it was just the standard like X ball kind of format that they had been doing. Then at Rock Hill, we ended up talking them into letting us do two halves.
Oh, nice.
Just because there was only 3 teams, and I can't remember, I think it was only like 15-minute halves, and you'd have like a 5 to 10-minute break or something like that. But that was awesome, like getting to do that, because it's just a lot of paintball like
Yeah.
in one go. The only thing that I think would have made that better is if we had penalty boxes and stuff like that.
Bring back the penalty boxes.
Oh, dude, I would love every second of that. Penalty boxes really proved if you are a man or not trying to come out of those things.
Yeah. If you're willing to run out of that thing into 2 guns, that's saying something.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've seen some crazy stuff with the whole penalty box scenario where people would, like, when I first started playing X ball, it was 2007, and you're shooting 15 balls a second, and I'd seen people just stick their barrel out of it and just lay into someone trying to hang the flag, even though they're not even supposed to come out yet.
That turret base thing.
But yeah.
How do you feel like because the game's changed a lot since then? Like, we no longer have the X or the A. Balls have gone down, more bunkers. Do you have a preference?
I think the A was honestly my favorite, like, prop for the center, and where the U was my least favorite bunker in the middle of the field. And part of it is I think it helped like even the playing field for like teams that like us, obviously we're called Breakout, and that's one thing we pride ourselves on doing is shooting really well on the break. Then you put just this big obnoxious bunker in the middle of it, and it takes the majority of what you can actually shoot out of it.
Yeah.
So it kind of helped the teams that weren't very good at shooting off the break out a lot. I would always joke around that it basically just turned your standard 5-on-5 X ball into a 4-on-4 format.
Yeah. I mean, send a guy to the wall and then make sure there's a guy on the other side of the wall and dunk on the guy.
Just go get him.
Go get him, take him off the field. And
you want to be the hammer in that situation and not the nail.
Yeah. But I didn't see too many people live from being the hammer though either, so it definitely kind of made it 4-on-4 right off the break. So, and I feel like the A was harder to get up to, right?
Yeah. And it was easier to kind of scout teams if they were going to send a guy to the A lot. Then you would just pick a guy that had the better lane, and he would just float and shoot for the guy going up the middle. And it basically guaranteed that you're going to get at least 1 kill off the break. You might sacrifice a guy and it turns into the same 4-on-4, but there's a possibility that you've turned it into a 5-on-4 right off the get-go.
You've been in a long time. What's been your favorite marker throughout that time?
Honestly, as far as like the marker that I've shot the most would be probably a Lux 2.0.
Okay.
I had a gloss red one. No, actually, I've had 2 of them. I had a doo-doo brown with lime green parts, and I had to sell that just to play an event with Collision in California, and I regret that a lot. But I got another one in like 2015, and I shot that thing until like 2019. I probably have like 2 or 3 million shots on that gun easy. Yeah.
Still the same solenoid?
Yeah. Wow. Well, I sold it. I'm gonna try and get it back from the kid, but I shot the crap out of that thing.
Okay. So what's you didn't do Atlantic City. Are you guys going to Ohio?
No,
or
I think
what's the plan for Breakout for the rest of the year, I guess?
So they're going to do MVPS, basically the whole season of MVPS down in Florida.
Okay.
That's a pretty cool league if you ever get a chance to check it out. They got a lot going on down there. I believe they rent out like a section of a sports complex, and it's
Okay.
definitely one of the better fields as like for paintball events that you can go to because they got when you pull in there, it's kind of a sight to see because they got all these soccer fields and football fields set up, and you're kind of in the back little corner, but they usually have like 5 X-ball fields set up, and the day runs pretty smooth.
That's a pretty big local league then.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't realize it was that big.
Yeah, it's let's see, D3 there like averages like 25 teams, something
Okay.
around there. Yep.
Yeah.
So you definitely get. It's not like you're playing the same team every time you go down there and play, which is nice.
So what did you guys look at other leagues to do, or was it that was just kind of the move for you?
I think that was just kind of the move for us. It looked like a league that was gonna have D3 all year, and like the Carolinas, they try to have a D3 league doing
Yeah.
something, but you get like 1 or 2 events, and then it just kind of fizzles out. It's just kind of sad, But it is what it is. You gotta make do with what you got.
So you've been around for a while. Do you have a theory on why that is? Because we've seen it a bunch of times in
Yeah.
Carolina. Even the Georgia League has tried to do it, and it's just never kind of picked up in this pocket of the Southeast. Either gotta go north, west, or south.
Uh, I think some of it might just have to do with, a lot of the teams that do play D3 out of the Carolinas are solely focused on NXL, which is perfectly fine. And it's probably just a money thing. They'd rather spend their time, practicing at their own home fields, not having to go deal with something at a field that might be 3 hours away from them or something like that. But that would be my guess, is it's more
No,
of a money and kind of time restraint issue.
gotcha. So you guys flying down or driving down to Florida?
Some of us fly down, some of us drive down. I'm kind of, uh, limited to driving. Having a pregnant wife, so
Yeah.
I don't want to put her on a plane.
Oh,
But I enjoy the trip. We always ride down there with my buddy Jeremy Draxler. He's also a player on Breakout. And we normally get down there a decent time, it's like an 8 hour drive. It's not
okay.
terrible.
Is that a leave Friday night thing or?
Because well, so we can actually leave Saturday morning because we play on Sunday. And
Okay.
then most of the time we just take Monday off and come back Monday morning.
Okay. All
Yep.
right. But you bring down the wife too?
She loves it. Like she loves
Okay.
watching it.
Nice. She help out in the pits and stuff, or did at least before?
She has a few times, yeah. So
Okay.
CPXL, she was filling pods and running pods for us because we had like a pod runner that decided that he'd rather just hang out and not, do what he was there to do. So
Okay.
just look up and she's out on the field just running and picking pods up. I
Nice.
was like, okay, this works.
So are most of the guys based around that part of North Carolina?
So we're not really scattered, so to speak. Most of us are within like an hour or so
Okay.
from Rock Hill, and then we have 2 players currently playing with us with Robert and Chance. They're based out of Tennessee.
Okay.
They're
Nice.
the ones that are taking the long drives just to get to practice.
Okay. How often are you guys practicing?
So it's mainly just layout weekends is what we're kind of working with now. But one of the nice things about NVPS is that they do a 3 week layout week. So like
Okay.
you got 3 weekends to get on the layout and play it before you go down to the event, which works out really well for us. Where NXL is just the one weekend now.
So you like that longer time with it?
But yeah, as much time as I can get on a field, I'm all about it because I'm not naturally gifted like some of these kids that can just get out there for like one layout weekend and then go kill it, at the event.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you like just having the time to analyze it and stuff?
yeah, I like to
Okay.
know like if I go here, then I have like A, B, and C,
Okay.
from each spot.
Well, and I don't know if a lot of them are doing that with the one layout.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like a lot of teams, it's like, okay, this worked. We're going to keep that.
We're gonna try this. Oh yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
mean, you get that, but we do like to break it down where obviously you're going to find that one play that's going to be your kind of play that you go to everything. You might make a subtle change on it, but it is nice to have like three or four plays in the book that you can kind of throw out there and
Yeah.
confuse whoever you're playing against.
Um, how is how big is the roster exactly?
Us, so like I said, we normally carry like 8.
Okay.
I think for Cup we'll probably have 9 altogether. That'll be myself, Dylan Holmesley, Justin Ainsworth, Chance Thompson, Dustin Thompson, Jake Boger, Jeremy Draxler, Robert, and Clavis
Okay.
McMillan or
Nice.
McElwain.
How's because you guys have been like the majority of you've been playing together for a really long time. How doesn't sound like you got a coach. How does that kind of factor in, or
We
how do you
actually
guys make decisions?
we brought in Gavin Stokes from Clutch,
Okay.
and he's been coaching us this year. Justin Lamb actually went down to Tampa and coached us at Tampa. So, and I think he's going to stick around. Might not get to go down to all the MVPSs, but I believe he's going to be down there with us at World Cup for sure, if
Okay.
not just to hang out.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Nice. You guys do anything? Have you guys? Sorry. Have you guys put your toe into the mechanical side yet, or?
So I've never done it. It does look like something that'd be pretty fun. I know a lot of your shows you talk about playing mounds and stuff
Oh yeah,
like that.
love it.
That one definitely looks interesting. Looks terrifying, but interesting at the same time. So that might be something I'll try down the road. I don't know about the rest of the guys.
Well, if I happen to be down there at Cup, you let me know if you want to be put on
Yeah,
the roster.
yeah.
We'll sneak you on for one or two.
Okay. See if we can make
Terrifying's a
that
good
work.
word for
Yeah,
it. Fun, terrifying, but
yeah. Well,
it's
I'm
something different.
typically used to people coming over a mini W and shoot me in the top of the head, not just a big old pile of dirt with some grass on top of it
Yeah,
coming over.
well, it's a different beast. Friday it's very overgrown, and then by Saturday morning it's shot to shit already.
Yeah, yeah.
All the
Nice and
green
laid down.
was gone. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
laid down a little bit more streamlined. What's one of your favorite memories of Breakout, man?
So I have a few. Two of them are actually from the same event. And it's from Atlantic City.
Okay.
This would have been 2017, I believe. We were at the very beginning of the event. We were missing a couple players. They had stuff going on at home, couldn't make it to the event. So you're already going in there thinking, oh, we don't have everybody here. So it's going to be kind of a different animal as far as like who we're putting on the field and how we're putting the roster together, as far as, who's the twos, who's the ones, who's the threes, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember Chance giving a really good speech, and I remember this a lot. He's probably going to hate that I say this, but one of his things or one of his mottos for the events is if I'm alive, meaning anyone on the field is alive, then there's always a chance to win. And that's no matter if it's a 1-on-1, 1-on-3, 1-on-5. If you're out there kicking it, then we're gonna let it ride.
Okay.
And I think we ended up getting fifth that event. We lost to Colorado Blitz, and we played them in the prelims, and they worked us in the prelims. And then when we played them later in the event, we ended up running out of time in like a 2-on-1 like
Okay.
score. But at the same event, we were playing a team. I think they're called the Stingrays, and they had a guy on there that would always say like, "We're having a ball game, boys," whenever they're like beating the other team. Well, we ended up playing them, and I think we beat them like 5-1, something ridiculous. I just remember us kind of mocking them, saying that we're having a ball game here, boys. We were in a scenario where we were going to lose another point, and it was me and Drew Potts. We're on the
Okay.
snake side. I'm in the snake. Drew's in the like snake insert, and it's just two of us on four of them, and they're trying to fly down the Dorito side, and their front Dorito guy, who was, their best player, he's just popping his head out, and I'm just like trying to pick a shot to get him off the field, and he just happens to look right at me, but not realize that I'm there, and I just put one ball out, and you just see that perfect yellow circle just hit his lens, and I was like, well, he's gone. And like 10 seconds later, they just conceded with still a high body situation. That one felt good.
That's awesome. Um, what's been your favorite local event since?
Honestly, it was probably that CPXL where they let us play halves.
Okay, that's
Yeah, because
that's a good reason.
yeah, I mean, so we played Gridlock in the finals, and that was a fun one because
Okay.
back in the Cosa Nostra days, it always felt like not necessarily rivals with them, but it seems like we would always play against them later in the event, and they'd be the reason why we wouldn't win. But
Okay.
a lot of how those seasons went with Kosa is a bunch of us like, we're all like 18, 19 years old at the time, and we're literally taping guns together just so that they work. And we played one match against them. I swear we only had like 4 working guns and 3 working loaders, and they're this huge program that's got 12 kids on the roster with all the same, like, I think it's like PM6s. They're all shooting like brand new PM6s.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have a little bit of that, at the time.
It's a little harder when you're the Dirt Rockers, right? And
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
you don't have the 12-man roster and
Yeah.
the big brother team to help come and pit
Oh yeah,
or do whatever.
tell you what you're doing wrong.
How is that shifting from Costa Nostra to kind of a bigger organization?
So it was a pretty big jump, kind of going from like all of us trying to, like I said, tape everything together and just get 5, 6 guys to an event, to playing with, you're going to have 10 minimum, was pretty cool because, it was like one of the first times that I played for a team that we all wore the same jerseys, pants, and mask, so most of us, on Costa, we had the matching jersey, but it was just whatever you wanted to shoot, whatever mask you wanted to wear. And if you had actual paintball pants, then all the better.
Yeah, you were rolling deep then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're doing good.
What was it? The CFOA people used to joke, can't find our matching apparel or something like that. Give me how was it playing D2? Like that was during the PSP time, right?
Yeah, so back with CEP playing D2 it was kind of the same, a little different because, we were playing with, an organization with multiple teams. So like whenever you were going to prepare for an event, you'd have like 20 to 30 people there, maybe a team playing D3, team playing D2, and then kind of a mixture of guys that are trying to play the event, or they're just kind of as like extra bodies trying to play.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the 2 pro players that they had come in to kind of coach us, but they had us doing all kinds of drills that like we normally wouldn't be doing at our regular practices with Kosa. With Kosa, we just went out there and just played the field, and because most of your seat plays were blind layouts anyways. But with CEP, it was like you're gonna know like how to like where you're gonna shoot at off the break, and then where you're gonna be at, certain times of the point, stuff like that. So like you were really dialed in whenever you actually got to the event.
I lost your camera for some reason, buddy. I was trying to figure out if it was on
There you
my
go.
end or your end.
No, yeah, I saw pause for
Sorry.
a second. I think it's because I talk with my hands and it was asking me about hand gestures.
Okay. That's good. That's good for the video.
There we go. There we go.
What's one of your longest friendships you've made through paintball?
Definitely Justin Ainsworth. I think we started playing together at the end of 2006. The first event I played with him was like the last CFLA. It was the CFLA finale for
Okay.
2006. We kind of met at Scrap That, and I don't remember if you remember Walt.
Mm.
He was in charge of the team at the time.
Okay.
And I was just asking him, trying to get on that team to play with him because I didn't know if I was even going to have a team to play the last event. So I'm sitting there kind of basically begging him at this point, just like, come on, man, just let me get on the roster. Well, one of the other guys decided he wasn't going to play. So that gave me a spot to do it. And we ended up playing that last event, like the 5-man event, with just 5 guys and winning every single point in
Nice.
it. So that was pretty cool. Like playing with a brand new team and winning right out the gate was pretty awesome.
Yeah, pretty rare to do that too. Like,
Yeah,
which makes it more special just because something's got to click that weekend, right?
yeah. It's just everything kind of fell into place, and I made every opportunity count on that one for sure.
So from that, did you and him keep playing on
Yeah.
the same
So
teams together?
that was Boss Factory, and the next year is when we started doing the whole Cosa Nostra thing.
Okay.
And then really from Cosa Nostra to kind of into CEP to taking a break to doing the tryout for Collision and Breakout to currently still playing with Breakout.
So how does that's awesome that you just kind of you have your road dog, if you will, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
How did it go from the big organization to just Breakout? And like, how do you guys manage the team now? Like, is there an owner still, or is it just you guys as a collective now?
So it's basically just us as a collective. We like everybody still loves the game, everybody still wants to play, and I mean, kind of like myself, I don't think I'll really want to go play with another team
Mm-hmm.
that you know that takes it as serious as the guys that are on Breakout now. So like it's fun to go play with, you know, Wreckers and Clutch, and I even play with the Bush Hogs for a season.
Okay.
But like I'll always, if anybody on Breakout's playing and they ask me to play, it's always going to be a yes. Like those dudes are awesome.
All right. Awesome. Um, um, how are you guys like structuring practices and stuff?
So typically how we do like layout practices is like the first day, it's literally just going out there and doing like 10 to 20-second breakouts basically the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of, near the end of the day, kind of start running points where we try to put ourselves in scenarios where, hey, if this happens, then this is what we kind of want to work towards. Then the next day is kind of start out with breakouts and then just play a ton of points. And then if we can actually get people to play against, then it's same thing, just all points all day.
Okay. Nice. How important you think those breakout drills are? I mean, obviously you guys spend a lot of time on it, but I kind of break it down because I'm a big fan of the 10, 20-second points
Yeah.
breakouts and spending a lot of time there. But if you could break it down for why you think it's important.
So I think it's important because like it really you can use it as a tone setter,
Mm-hmm.
and it really helps us like kind of figure out, one, can we shoot the lanes that we think we're going to shoot, gives us an idea of like not necessarily like exact percentages of, hey, this is like 90% shot, we're going to make this every single time. It's not that in depth, but it also helps us kind of feel out what we can get away with, especially since most of us are getting pretty close to our 40s. And even though we got some guys with wheels on them, those wheels, the tread's starting to come off a little bit, but that's one of the benefits of like really dialing in shots, because you can kind of give yourself a mental break if you can shoot you're playing against a team full of young guys. If you can shoot their fast dude off the break, then those guys in the back, we can really work them, you know, because if we can still get a guy out wide, then we can kind of put them in a place that we want them where we're wider than they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because paintball to me is an outside in game. If you can get
Yeah.
wide and stay alive wide, then you are in a pretty good spot to win.
Yeah. If you are wider than the other guys, you definitely have the advantage. Kind of not that you can't win from the pocket, but it's a
Yeah.
lot harder.
So
For sure.
that's where we struggle a lot, for sure. There are teams that play the pocket well, and we just have a hard time with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's every now and then you find a really good pocket team. So you guys have been with GI pretty much since the beginning, right?
So yes and no. 2016, we actually switched to HK
Okay.
and did HK from 16, 17, 18, 19. And then we kind of just wore like all the same old gear until about 22,
Okay.
23. We also decided that we needed to start upgrading stuff a little bit.
So is that when you guys decided to go back in on like a GI/core sponsorship thing?
Yeah, we're all really good friends with Matt Sauceman, and
Okay.
he's done a lot to help us out. Like he's kind of been our ear, like our direct line to,
Okay.
kind of helping us get painted events and different gear, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, because you guys got to be in like the new profiler, like
Yeah.
promotional stuff, right?
Yeah, so I think we were like the first team, first team that everybody on the team got a profiler to, which was kind of cool. So I
Okay.
always appreciate that, like getting to go, because the profilers they're iconic with
Mm-hmm.
paintball, kind of similar to the JT mask. So it's kind of neat to see something that, hasn't really made a crazy innovation for what, like the last 10 years to get
Yeah.
to wear like the new of it.
Yeah. It was one of the first like quick change lenses though, I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like.
what I love about it.
So
The flexes are great, but if I ever have to change a lens in it, I just hand it to somebody else. That's not
yeah.
for me.
Yeah, if I have to change my lens in a flex, it's gonna sit there for a while before I do
For sure.
it. So that's why flex guys have so many flexes, though.
Yeah, you just take a frame off, put it on another
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Next one up until you've
Yep,
accumulated a couple.
for sure. Yeah.
So how did you guys know you were going to get those, or was that like a surprise down at World Cup?
So that's kind of I would say more of a surprise. I think there was like an idea that, Matt was going to work something out for us.
Uh-huh.
I don't know the exact details. I just know it's like, hey, look, we're going to get these. And it's like, sweet.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like you guys, I feel like you guys have a definite like anyone who knows Carolina paintball has definitely heard of Breakout, right? But
I would imagine so. I mean, in a positive light, but you
yeah,
never know.
and I think so. Like that they were one of the teams and they've kept it going. But like nationally, like maybe not so much in the recent years. So I think it's really cool that you guys were able to kind of be that pro flex team coming out the gate for that.
Yeah, that was definitely cool because you're just scrolling Instagram one day and everybody's just like, hey, check this out. And then there's like a 30-second video of just, Robert or Logan just
Hmm.
kind of walking around wearing profiler.
So what mark are you shooting these days?
So I've really just switched into Planet Eclipse. So
Okay.
right now I'm actually sitting on more guns than I definitely need.
Yeah.
Plus, I think 2021 I got a CS2 Pro, and that was like the first time I shot a Planet Eclipse gun since
Mhm.
the CS3
Okay.
platform, and then fell in love with that. And ever since, I ended up going crazy on Twister stuff. So
Okay.
ended up getting a Twister LV2. Kind of decided I didn't like the open bolt concept,
Hmm.
and was fortunate enough to get in on one of the Hurricanes editions CS3s.
Nice.
And yeah, I love that thing. That thing's sweet.
Those are sick looking.
But yeah,
Are you gonna get the new bolt for that?
so that's for. I know they made one for the R5. I don't know if they're
Yeah, it
making
was the
one for the CS3.
R5. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was the R5
that's
new
all
bolt.
good. I mean, CS3s, you pull them out of the box, shoot them, they shoot fine.
Hmm.
So,
Well, I haven't shot a R5, but I imagine they shoot fine out the box too.
but yeah. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I'm not knocking the R5. The idea with the SFR is pretty neat to me. Being able to interchange it to get a different shot. I like stuff like that, but I also like being able to just pull the gun out of the bag, put some air on it, and put paint through it.
Nice. So with you saying that, it kind of surprised me you didn't like the essentially the new Ego, the LV, since you can tune those things.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: they have a really smooth shot, um, but it's just more of a kind of an ergonomic kind of thing because the
Okay.
front grip is a little like wider than it is round, and I don't have the biggest hands, so like the CS3, fits perfect. Where uh, one of the things that kind of turns me off with the R5 is it's got that kind of GO4 feel to it,
Okay.
and I didn't really care for how that felt.
So just a little thicker and beefier.
Yeah, yeah, I can get a better grip on the CS.
Gotcha. Yeah, my brother got a LV, a Project LV, and I just couldn't get a shot. The way it's stacked threw me off for whatever reason, which is weird because I also have a G6R, which I switch in and out of, and it doesn't mess with me. But something about the grip and the double stack on the LVs threw me
I
off.
got yeah.
So
I always joke with the LV1 and like through the 1.6. Shooting those to me feels like you're playing a video game where the bullets are coming out underneath the gun and
yeah,
not actually out of the barrel. And I feel like I don't have it, like I have to tilt the gun way up for the balls to actually fly where they look normal out of them.
that might be a spool guy thing,
There's
though.
also that possibility.
So because you did say you shot the Lux for a long time, right?
Oh yeah,
So
for yeah.
going from that, I've shot die forever. So it was I think that was just kind of part of it. So now I've gotten to play with some CS2s and CS3s that I like though for sure. And the shot was close enough to my other guns where it didn't bug me like the LV.
I got you. Yeah, that is. you definitely got to get used to it. But we have a couple guys on the teams that shoot them and shoot LV2s, and I mean they like them. Logan, for example, you see him every time we're at the house. He's taking that thing apart and putting it back together.
Nice. Take us through the MVP. Take us through the season so far for you guys, like overall. I know how you did at Tampa. Justin kept me in the loop on that one for sure, but I didn't know about the MVP.
Yeah, so the first MVPS we ended up placing fourth.
Okay.
And I think we played pretty good. We're using that as that's a starting point for the season. We all try to get it in our heads, like, okay, it's fourth and up from here. And that was kind of the motto going into Tampa. And prelims went pretty good. Ended up going 3-1 there. And then the team that we ended up losing to in the next round, I believe was the AG Knights. They were one of those pocket teams, and that just kind of they were the nail in the coffin on that one. But we ended up losing Robert that event because I want to say he pulled something, like pulled his hamstring during the match against Kicking the day before.
Okay.
And he's our Dorito, he's the guy that attacks on that side. So that one kind of sucked. And I think, some people were just like, well, we don't have Robert there now. It's going to bring that side down a little bit. And it showed a little bit. But everybody still, it's next man up, kind of mentality. You just got to go in there and do what you can to win points. But, we kind of fell a little short.
And then has there been any other MVPSs since then that you guys have gone to?
So they're actually, the first layout weekend was last weekend.
Okay.
And we're going to practice this weekend. And then I think there's going to be a break and then the event for MVPS. So it'll be 2 full weeks away.
All right. So are you going to try and make that one?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to skip that one.
That's going to be really ballsy of you.
No. No, I think September will probably be the next time I actually get to play one of the MVPSs.
That's fair.
Yeah. And if I can't do that, then it'll be World Cup for sure.
And I guess if you don't mind, because the recording doesn't know, but you're having your first child, right?
Oh yeah. So this will be the first one.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
But we're kind of right there. Why don't you shout out the boys and the sponsors, and we'll make it a wrap.
So I just want to give a shout out to all the guys on Breakout. Like everything that you guys do, appreciate it. Want to give a shout out to Matt Salzman for hooking us up with all the cool stuff that GI Sports has to offer. Definitely want to give a shout out to the Thompson family for helping keeping us all together. And I really think that's all I got.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah, it was fun.
Thanks for tuning in to the Planet Paintball podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Whether you're out there grinding in the divisional pits or chasing dreams on the pro stage, remember, it's all about the passion, the hustle, and the love for the sport. Shout out to 1023 Sportswear for sponsoring the show. Don't forget to use code Planet Paintball at checkout for 20% off your order. Gear up, save big. Until next time, keep grinding, keep growing, and we'll see you back here on the Planet Paintball podcast